What's up, everybody? Killer here with my buddy Prince, my buddy Donny.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen and mostly ladies? As I'm sure everyone knows in crypto, it's all women.
All women.
Probably -5 females in the crowd right now, but yeah, Dale is not here. He's cleaning up his basement. His basement is allegedly flooded to shit. I think they got some really bad rain in Iowa.
Yeah,
but he's dealing with that. So hope
he's listening in. He'll be commenting in the chat a little bit, but yeah, we miss him tonight.
Dale, you lovable retard. I love you so much.
Anyway, the reason, I think the reason a lot of people are here, obviously, is Donny. Donny, welcome back, dude. It's been a while. It's going to be good to catch up.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for having me back. It's been interesting 2018 for me. As you guys know, I decided to start a hedge fund in the beginning of the year. Didn't end up working out, and I ended up moving to Vegas about 2 months ago and just day trading from my buddy's house and playing a lot of cards. If you're in Vegas and you think you're good at poker and you want to come try to take my money, you're more than welcome to. It probably won't work, but yeah. Come bum hunt me. Come bum hunt me at 2550 or 5100. I'd be happy to play with you.
How is Vegas for you? Because like when I picture you, man, I feel like Vegas is the perfect spot for you.
Yeah, like home. That's what I imagine.
Dude, it's wonderful. So I'm already stoked on football season. If you guys aren't familiar with Las Vegas, the Venetian has this bar where there are just like infinite TVs. So not only I'm going to be gambling aggressively in poker, but sports betting is going to be a very fun hobby this year where you guys will routinely get to sweat some pretty absurdly high sports bets. I've been working with a kid by the name of Ali to stake him in poker. I have no doubt he's going to be a 7-figure lifetime plus return. He's a ridiculously good poker player. So I'm going to be rolling all that money back in my sports betting role and having some good times and hopefully providing a lot of entertainment on the Twitter as well.
Did you say his name is Ali de Stakem? It sounds like a fake gambling name.
It's actually it's Ali de Ketchum, related to the Pokemon catcher.
Yeah.
So football's coming up. I'm sure you're playing fantasy. I kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. You know, we'll get into crypto, of course, but fantasy football. You had that big time league that I was thinking about joining, but like that's like pretty high roller for me. Have you been able to fill that out?
Yeah, so we have like 8 people. If you're interested, we're running a half a Bitcoin league for people that aren't wrecked and still have some life savings that they want to punt off to me in some sort of gambling activity. Yeah, so it's a half a Bitcoin. We have 8 people. If you're familiar with some Twitter personalities, your buddy Sab is also in the league. He's primarily an equities trader, but also trades crypto as well. So if you're interested, DM me. We have four spots left.
Nice. Yeah,
I got to do my research. Like, Prince, you're playing too this year, but I'm sure you probably have to do more research than me, Mr. Canadian. But I like don't even. I don't know. I have this theory though that like I've been running with the past couple of years that served me well. That wide receivers are underrated and tight ends are underrated in fantasy, just because it's become like such a passing league. I know running backs are like the guys you really want to focus on, but I think there's value to be had in like wide receivers and tight ends, just because it's such a passing oriented league.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to disagree there. I think running backs are still the way to go. I think there's a glut of wide receivers that are pretty decent. But hey, you're welcome to join. Half a Bitcoin, sign up, and yeah.
All right. How about this short squeeze we got going right now?
Yeah.
Right as BitMax goes down for maintenance, and we are pumping.
If you couldn't see one this going in one direction or the other at this point, I mean, you just haven't been trading crypto very long. You had to know the manipulation was coming either way. Like,
oh yeah. I think we're getting close to 6,800 right now on Phoenix. This is pretty good.
Yeah, this is gonna be some pretty lulzy liquidations, I imagine, when Mex comes back on.
Ooh, it's gonna be nasty.
Oh man.
Yeah, like for everybody who's just tuning in or whatever, we were talking about this like in the 2 minutes before the live stream started. We're all looking at the Finex chart and we're like, holy fuck, Bitcoin's up like $300 in the past 5 minutes. Right as
it was like down, within the minute it went down, Finex pumped like $150, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so obvious at this point. Like, if you can't make money trading the most manipulated market of all time, like, Jesus Christ, man.
It's just like the perfect storm. Like this whole thing right now, it's just like, the past month really, we've seen shorts just on the Phoenix data alone. They've doubled. I think there's been around 50 mil piled on in a month, and they just keep going. Meanwhile, we got some whale who's been trying to lurk with some hidden orders, and he's just been eating everything up. Oh.
How long is Mex down for? Like, what's the downtime?
I think.
I think just like an hour or so. Just long enough for them to liquidate all your positions.
Yeah, by the time they open back up, you have no longer a position.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if this lasts.
Like, that's so tough for people.
And the best part is going to be the immediate short after the short squeeze.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm curious. I'm trying to look at right now. It looks like shorts have only gone down by like 400 Bitcoin on Phoenix, so this is kind of intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, the next is at 6,800 roughly now, or like 66, 67, 62. So yeah, it should provide for a pretty interesting short squeeze coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted out earlier that it was the biggest short interest since April, but I think it was actually the biggest short interest ever by the time I got that out, right?
Hmm. Oh,
what's up?
Oh
my God!
It was a surprise.
Could it be?
Hey guys.
Wait, is this Dale?
This is Dale.
I just had to take a potty break from sucking water up in the basement, so I wanted to get on and touch base quick on the whole fantasy thing. Killer, I love you, but I've got to side with Donnie here. You got to get running backs.
I'm a contrarian.
I understand that, and I see your point, but like Donnie said, the problem is that the wide receivers are so deep.
Yeah, there's only one Le'Veon Bell, man. There's only one Saquon Barkley.
Do you? Okay, I think Saquon is a little bit too much hype. Right? People are putting him in the Hall of Fame already. Yeah, he's a physical freak. Trent Richardson was a physical freak too, but I'm not convinced yet.
Trent Richardson had like 11 kids. Okay, that's
the thing with
of a ball hair.
Like
Barkley, he's a well-spoken dude. He's a smart athlete. He hasn't gotten in any trouble. He's a good kid. Didn't do nothing wrong. Like, he's going to be the star. He's like Barry Sanders.
I agree there. And I see a lot of comparisons from him to like when Zeke first came in the league. And to me, the difference is that Zeke had this like crazy good offensive line. And I'm not saying that Barkley doesn't, but like I still think he's good and he's going to be a top 5 back this year, but like it'll just be interesting to see. I don't have him in any leagues. Maybe that's why I'm so butthurt about it, but I don't know.
Who's like the consensus #1 pick in fantasy this year?
Todd Gurley or Le'Veon Bell?
Gurley?
Yeah, definitely Todd Gurley or Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell if you're going PPR.
For sure.
Shit. Yeah, I don't. The tight end thing is a little bit tough too because like there's Gronk, but Gronk is liable to get like tear an ACL any week.
Gronk is Gronk.
Yeah.
Dude, low key tight end should be Jimmy Graham on the Packers.
No way. Trey Burton with the Bears, baby.
Trey Burton?
Dale, did you forget who the quarterback of the Bears is?
It's not Rex Grossman, I can tell you that.
Does it rhyme with Bubisky?
It rhymes with Bubisky.
It rhymes with like Nabisco or something. I don't even know. Like 3 teams in North Carolina, and the Bears drafted him in the first round. Pretty high as well.
Not only in the first round, they traded away all their picks to get him, and I'm still pretty butthurt about it.
Yeah, seems very well played by the Bears as usual.
Yeah, I'm just doing Bears things. At least we had the Cubs that won the World Series a couple of years ago. Otherwise, I would be probably laying face down in my basement right now.
You'd probably be meandering over to the single-A Des Moines Cyclones.
Hey, shout out Crypto at Night really quick. He says, Jimmy Graham burned me his first year in Seattle. 100% same thing happened to me. I drafted him. I'm like, oh, Jimmy Graham, Russell Wilson, red zone offense. This will work out well. Fucking guy had like 2 touchdowns the entire year.
Yeah,
your assumption was that Russell Wilson's a good quarterback, which he isn't.
He is no Drew Brees.
Maybe, yeah.
He is no Aaron Rodgers, okay?
Oh, gag me. Packers.
Just because... Hey, listen, man. Just because the Fudge Packers queen your clock every year doesn't mean they're not good.
Point. I really can't even argue with that, so I'm just gonna step down.
This
from
is
this
actually
argument
now
and let you
a
take the
fantasy
cake.
football podcast.
We're gonna have to make a spin-off
everyone.
podcast. It's just gonna be you, Donnie, running the whole thing, and it's gonna be a fantasy podcast.
Me and Dale will be talking stardom sit-em for all 16 weeks this year.
Yeah.
Donnie, we should put a little thing together where we talk like midweek or something.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, where we do like stardom sit-em or something. I think that'd be pretty.
Hell yeah, let's do it. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Hey, shout out, listen, Destro, Colleen in here. I know it's hard for you guys to listen when I'm not going to be here full time, but just want to give you guys a shout out because you guys came to Philly this weekend. We had a ball. Found out that not a lot. If I had to place one bet for the rest of my life, this is what I would bet. I would bet that 90% of crypto Twitter cannot hang with Colleen's drinking skills. Would you guys back me up?
Colleen,
I'm pretty sure I was losing heavily with Colleen and like going 2 for 1 on her. So,
well, Donnie, see, that's where you'd fall on that 5%. And if it was you versus her, I definitely would just stand on the sidelines. But most of these people out there, I am going to put big money on Colleen taking the cake.
The noob girl can drink.
Oh, she can.
Yeah.
Colleen's a savage. Like, she got off of like 3 hours of sleep, got on like a 4-hour flight, and then she was up until 2 o'clock. And like, granted, she was a little bit late to our merchandise table the following morning, just a little bit, Colleen, if we're being honest.
Like, showed up 30 minutes before we went on stage, but no big deal.
The whole time we're like, where's Colleen? And like, granted, like the previous night, she's probably texting us at like 2 a.m. Be like, I'm hitting the slots, guys. Like, I'm killing it.
She messaged me on Telegram and talked about devil boxes. And I was like, you mean buttholes?
Oh, God.
Anyway, somebody said earlier.
I'm going to jump off. So,
okay.
See you guys later. Take it
easy.
Thanks for coming on, Don.
Later, bud.
Somebody said earlier, what do you think caused the quick spike up in the Bitcoin price? I think part of it's probably at least that squeeze, right? I think most of the squeeze was, or most of the shorts were at like 6,700.
They're underwater now, so
by like a little bit.
It's curious though. I'm just looking at the data. Let's see. They're not closing off heavy yet. So
yeah, you know, what's Homobot say?
Oh,
Bitfinex.
And so you looking at the trading view short chart?
Yeah. So what?
It's still 58% short on Finex.
Yeah, there's still a lot to go. So, you know, I don't even know if you can really call this a short squeeze yet because they're not really closing, but they are underwater.
No,
so,
if anything, this is what's going to maybe trigger this short squeeze. Is this?
Well, you wait. Yeah, you wait. Like, because it was. I remember just the other day watching it, and just yesterday actually, it was pretty funny because you can tell it's like, you know, they're attacking on multiple exchanges. Whoever's doing this has got some pretty deep pockets. And you could see it. So it's like, I guess, oh, there we go. 68.50 pops up. There we go.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Man, I cannot wait to see how many people are upset that they got liquidated.
MEX is going to be a war zone when it opens back up here because there were some heavy shorting going on for just like on Finex. And they've been shorting equally just as hard on MEX. So it's going to be a bloodbath when they open back up. Order books are just going to get wrecked.
Yeah, I told my entire pay group, I was like, hope everyone's flat right now because, you know, as soon as BitMEX goes down, that some shit is going to happen.
I'm not even going to lie. Like, I'm full degen. I'm still holding a long I've had, like, since the weekend. And I was like, yo, screw it. Like, I'm just going to ride this and let's see what happens. And, you know, I guess it's looking like I'm on the right side of things, but this is just pure degen shit on my part.
Yeah.
This is the same man who bets on preseason football, so should we be surprised?
Wait. To be fair, I may have placed wagers on preseason football as well.
See, Donnie gets me.
Hey, listen. Okay, if you think you have a plus EV spot, it doesn't matter if it's like the WNBA 2 last place teams. If you think there's a spot, I'm fucking firing. I don't care.
Yeah.
You want to call me a degen? I want to say you're probably less rich than I am, okay? I'm going to bet on the WNBA if I think there's a spot.
Oh, yeah. I've bet in some absolutely absurd leagues. And,
Prince, Wait, the Israeli Premier League, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. You get some pretty wild action there.
You need the obscure leagues because they don't know how to handicap them, so you can get a huge edge.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. Yeah,
dude.
Consensus, right?
Dude, one of my favorite things to bet is like you get this obscure college basketball team playing a team like Duke, right? And let's say the spread is like 35 points. Those are often the best spots because, like, you know how hard it is to beat a team by 35 points, even if they're like complete garbage?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard, man. Like, if the team is reasonable, pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually lurk for those, like, just the garbage over-unders on some of these soccer games and these, like, just obscene leagues that nobody really watches, too. And, like, it's the same thing. Like, you can get – they'll set them at, like, 1 for an over-under. And it's like, you know, I'm going to smash the over on that every time because I like that.
Yeah, Prince, I think you're going to have to send me some of those. I'm just going to start firing 10 stacks on the ones you find.
Yeah, man.
Try to run some money up.
I love how, like, most people's, like, entire bankroll is like, yeah, I'll throw off a few, like, bullshit bets, like, to you, Donnie. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, 10K, whatever, LOL.
So I was going to say, the chart I'm looking at, Finex or BTC shorts are still at 68.8% based on this chart I'm looking at. What do you guys think we do from here?
Just starting to close now. We just got a nice little dump in shorts. About 1,300 just got closed.
Yeah, it's still showing to me as 58% short, 41% long.
Yeah.
Oh, I must be looking at a different chart.
I'm just messaging FOMOBot, so
there's going to be, there's still a long ways to go to really get a good squeeze on, so this should be fun to watch. What are your thoughts right now with alts? I know you've been just printing money pretty much on some of these shorts. How do you feel like, you know, if we get like a pretty wicked, say, a short squeeze on Bitcoin, do you think that's going to translate over to alts?
I don't see why it would. I mean, if you look at the spot volumes for Ethereum, I mean, it's been up since it's touched 250, but in general, this whole year, it's just been declining volume. So I don't really see anything. There's no real incentive for new entrants to come to buy alts. I mean, all this technology is still worth 9 and 10 figures even, and no one uses it. So in my opinion, it's still very overvalued. I mean, you have EOS, which no one uses, worth $5 billion. The most interesting thing that I saw recently was something that Zizu posted, where it was like the daily average users of Augur is like 1,200 or something, and each daily average user is worth like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, which just seems absolutely insane to me, right? So all of this technology, it's either going to get used or it's going to keep declining, in my opinion. I mean,
it's kind of like, and to like kind of look at that, like how many users are actually on it. To put into perspective, I think what Aurora DAO IDEX has like a $5 or $7 million market cap, and they're the most used DApp there is right now. And
exactly.
Is it really that small? IDEX?
Yeah, man, tiny.
Yeah, and I think that's a very fair valuation for that like
absolutely.
It's not really a company, it's a coin, but like
8 million. Yeah.
You know where that coin is at. I think it's a very fair valuation.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous because it's you know, like it's one of those things where everybody's just like, well, we've already gotten hit so hard, we've crashed so hard, but then, you know, you look at these alt valuations and you're just like, well, okay, but this is still just absurd. Like, they aren't doing a thing. Why is this valued so high? Like
I think you need to look at something like Paycoin, right? Which is a very interesting comparable for most altcoins out there, specifically those that are ETH ICOs that aren't really actively being developed on.
Yeah.
If you look at Paycoin, it pumped to $160 million market cap in 2015, and then is now at a market cap of around $150,000. Realistically, this is the fate of most ICOs and most altcoins. There's no incentive for these developers to work on them. I mean, if I was a developer, I did 25 million in ICO, I'd be in the fucking Maldives with 3 blondes and a bunch of cocaine. Like, I wouldn't be working on a fucking boring ass app. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and they have no responsibility to anybody because it's not like they're shareholders. You know, it's just a token. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like the whole short thesis for the entire market. And like shorts are at an all-time high. And if you look at a commitment of traders report from the CME, which is basically just anyone that's trading on the CME exchange, what their positions are. Yeah, it just shows overwhelmingly short, and for good reason as well. I mean, no one uses the technology yet. So yeah, we have a long way to go.
What do you guys think about the Bitcoin price here? Like, what do you think we go up? You think this fails? I think the short squeeze has got to play out for a little bit, right?
I mean, you have that Bitfinex whale that was just holding 6,300 forever. It seems like he has infinite money.
It's interesting, and he was just, and it's all on spot, right? He was just loading up on spot. There's no margin to what he's doing. So that's interesting to me. That's like, okay, you know, someone is pretty serious here. And, you know, at times when you got heavy money coming in like that, I'm not going to say, you know, the B word, the bottom word, but they can play a factor into helping that. But at the same time, you know, like there's still a lot to play out, and who the hell knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin has established itself, whether dissenters of Bitcoin want to agree or not, as a store of value, and people use it as a store of value. So I think Bitcoin will always have volume, or always have value for the foreseeable future. Whether the price goes down, who knows? It could go up, down, sideways. But Bitcoin's main value add is that it's censorship-resistant money, so that it's borderless censorship-resistant money, which will never change. It has the brands, and as long as the crypto market is a thing, like Bitcoin will continue to be worth quite a bit of money.
To me, and it really does come down to that thing of, you know, Bitcoin maximalism. You know, I think during the all pumps, people like to shun it, but at the end of the day, it's like Bitcoin is the one coin to me that is like, you know, it's not going anywhere really. And, you know, it is, you know, to me, it's going to be around. Alt's different story.
Yeah, like, so, let me give you an example. I'm just on the Finex coins, right? Something like Omise Go. It's backed by a company. It's backed by Omise, which is a company in Southeast Asia. But who knows if this token ever has real value, right? Like it's currently it's currently valued at 568 million. And let's check the valuation of Omise itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think like obviously a lot of this shit's like going to zero, but like, do you think? I mean, a lot of people think even Ethereum is like a complete shitcoin and is going to go to zero, and I find that a little bit hard to believe in because there's so many developers working on it.
I just don't think that's going to happen in the short term. There are a lot of corporatists that have an interest in Ethereum succeeding. So like someone like Brian Armstrong, who is the CEO of Coinbase, he has a very strong interest in Ethereum succeeding. Joe Lubin, guys like that, they're not going to just let Ethereum fail. So I think Ethereum will be around. I think EOS is total garbage, but they just have a ton of money. So I think that'll be around. Ripple will be around for a while. But some of these other ones, like I get asked about a random altcoin. Like I got asked about Engine Coin today. I don't even know what that is. And if I can't tell you what it is or if there's any prominent people invested, it's probably going to zero and you should probably not have your money in it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Follow the big money. And with alts, I think that's a pretty serious thing.
Yeah. Like you're going to see a lot of charts that just like spike up really hard in January and then slowly you get dumped on until there's no liquidity in the market and the token's worth zero.
Yeah.
Donnie, I'm curious. Are you staking Tezos?
I am
delegating
not,
or
I am not baking. I do not own any Tezos currently.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. I think it's like Prince and I are pretty geeked about it. I think like it's gonna be a pretty cool thing.
I'm taking a wait and see approach there. I have most of my money in Bitcoin and US dollars right now.
Yeah.
And like a couple of alts that I have large positions in, but
Tezos those are like really my only alt actually right now. It's just Tezos, and then that's my only alt, and then pretty much it's just dollars and Bitcoin.
Yeah, my big alt right now is only Tomo, and I would have reduced risk a little bit, but there's just no liquidity for it whatsoever, so I can't reduce risk.
Yeah, when you're trading in size, it's tricky at times.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, everybody's like, oh, I want to be a whale, but it's got its downsides.
Yeah, I also own a fair bit of Tau, which is Bryce Wiener's exchange that he's launching. Whether it actually gets launched, who the fuck knows? But I'm taking a flyer on it just on the off chance it's not a complete scam.
Yeah.
Did you guys see one of the senior promoters at BitConnect went to jail in India?
Oh, yeah. I briefly saw something. I didn't read into it, but it's good to see they're finally getting hit up and getting sent off to jail, because come on, like that wrecked a lot of people. And like, you know, it's tough to say. You don't want to be like the guy who says, well, come on, it was an obvious scam. You know, you still want to be like, okay, well, that really sucks for these people. So, okay. You know, but like, yeah.
I mean, just because it was an obvious scam doesn't mean they shouldn't be punished, right? Like,
exactly, yeah.
What I don't get is like, how is Carlos Matos still free? Like, if this Indian guy's going to jail, who I don't think anybody's ever heard of, like Carlos Matos is sitting in Brooklyn doing a water fast, like eating like nice salads. I don't really get what's going on here.
This is wrong, sir.
He's doing a water fast because he can't afford food anymore.
Saving up for that bail money.
Exactly.
You need to get
he's got legal troubles
to buy him Soylent.
Yeah.
Dude, we need to get Carlos Matos on the show before he goes to jail.
What's up?
Well, what?
Yeah.
Like Trayvon James got on YouTube or freaking Twitter saying that he got a phone call saying he's got to go present himself to the SEC or something too a few weeks back. And then I think what he was getting on trying to say how it's still not a scam to him. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude. He's going to be walking into the SEC being like, would the SEC just let me be? So let me be me.
That whole BitConnect thing, it's just such a mess. And I do hope, like, I hope they get the guys who are, you know, were really running the thing, and I hope they lock them all up, because that was just disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's really funny to meme on the idiots that participated in BitConnect. You know, shout out Crypto Kirby, who's blocked me on Twitter and probably deleted his account by now. One of the biggest showers of BitConnect out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, people really did lose money in that, man. That's not cool.
There was some serious, I remember reading stuff like, you know, people like, you know, I took out loans to put it into this. I took out business loans, or, you know, remortgaged the house to put it into this. And it's just like, oh my God, it's like, you know, there's a lot of stupidity involved, but it's just, you know, still, it's like you feel for them. It's like,
yeah, it's tough. Like, part of me wants to be like, okay, it was such an obvious scam that if you participated, you get what was coming to you. But part of me is also like, okay, there are a lot of new people to the space who like literally don't recognize a Ponzi when it comes.
There's a lot of people who had never even been in markets before. And, you know, crypto is their first experience of just entering a market in general, which to me is pretty wild, because it's like, you know, this, you know, to me, it's like enter stocks first or something. Because you know, crypto is just
pop into something that's totally unregulated, where people are doing whatever they want all over the place. Just go buy an ETF or something. Go make a Vanguard account. Don't just. I mean, like, if you want 10% off your trading fees, you can go to bitmax.com and use my reference link at Donny Crypto. But aside from that, man, like, go buy Apple or something. Don't go buy Bitcoin. You won't know what you're doing.
Exactly. Like, this market is it's just raw, you know. That's I think that's the best way for me to describe it. It's
raw. I'm like, it's raw like cocaine straight from Bolivia, you know what I'm saying, man?
It is nuts.
All right, let's play a little bit of a game that we got a little bit away from, but over under will be making a comeback. We've been trying to work it back in. People like it. So first one we'll start with is Bitcoin, of course. Big Daddy Bitcoin. Current price about 6,800. Let's say over or under 8,000 in 2 weeks.
Under.
Yeah, 2 week time frame is kind of big. You know, maybe if you did it a week, I don't know, I would be maybe intrigued, but I think under for the 2 weeks.
I think it's more likely to be over 8K in a week.
Yeah.
And then back under. That's
what I'm thinking too.
Like, I could see a pump to that 7,800 support and then a dump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been looking at that. It's like, I kind of agree with you guys, because looking at the chart, it looks like we're due for some kind of short-term spike here, but it doesn't look like anything that's going to be meaningful unless we break really strongly upward, like past 10K, 11K, 12K. And it's hard for me to fathom that happening.
Yeah, that just ain't happening, boss.
Yeah. Oh, well. Let's go Ethereum. It's currently 294. Over or under say 350 in 2 weeks.
Over.
I think over, eh?
Yeah, definitely over.
I would think under. I don't know. I think especially if Bitcoin does spike, I think alts are going to get crushed a little bit.
It's tricky for me because it's gotten hammered so hard in the past like month, really, especially like the last like month. It's absolutely crushed. So when it comes to potential upside, I think there's going to be more to be had on Ethereum US dollar trading. But yeah, it's I think that one's a really tricky one for me. I don't really know how to answer. I'm kind of in between. Like,
yeah, I think I think it's just hovering around the longer term support from November at the moment, and it's been on a downtrend since May. It's been on that downtrend since around the beginning second week of May, from 800 all the way down to 300. We haven't really seen any sort of relief bounce in the last call it month or so. So I kind of think we're overdue for a little bit of a relief bounce, just from
it's gotten hit hard. So
yeah, just from people that may have bought it like $15 that are hardcore Ethereum fundamentalists that now think it's a good place to buy. I would be bullish on Ethereum in the short term, but definitely bearish long term as ICOs start selling their stacks and stuff.
Yeah, and this 300 level is a pretty significant level for Ethereum as it is too. So you'll probably, I think the 250 we saw a lot of buyers step up and it bounced pretty good off of there. Next level is pretty much 300, which we'll see if we can crack that, and I think we will. And it'll be good. So
yeah.
So we talked about most alts being complete bullshit. This over/under on Ethereum makes me think of another question. Donny, are there any sectors within alts that you think are really here to stay? Anything you like long term, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's privacy and exchanges. I mean, when eventually at some point there's going to be another speculative bubble within crypto. It's going to happen that there's an institutional grade product, which is going to cause more attention into the asset class. And once there's more attention to the asset class, people will feel empowered to come back in and buy shit coins. And where are they going to do it? Probably Binance. And I want to be owning a part of the casino. I'm basically owning a little bit of every major exchange token that exists, simply because I am not smart enough to predict which exchange people will gravitate to. But I know at some point one exchange will pump extremely hard, and I want a piece of that action. Whether it's Binance, whether it's one of the decentralized exchanges like 0x or AirSwap or IDEX, one of them is going to pump at some point, and I want to be part of the action when it happens. And then privacy, if you can just think about all the use cases, non-nefarious and nefarious for privacy coins, things like Monero, Z coins still have a lot of value, and I'm accumulating those in big numbers. But when you look at something, let me give you an example. Something like Tata 2, which I didn't even realize was a coin, because just based off name alone, right? If I were to present to you a company named Tata 2, you would look at me and say, "What in the holy fuck are you trying to sell me?" Okay, this is more akin to a Canadian rock group from the mid 2000s than any sort of worthwhile investment. Okay, so at some point, all of the charlatan investment managers or hedge fund managers are going to push this bullshit on you. Don't buy it. It's garbage. And anyone that's buying it is simply pushing it on you because they got in at an extremely low valuation, like most ICOs. And I'm guilty of doing it myself. But look, man, in the future, most of this shit, it's worthless. So just try to stay away from ICOs, buy and hold Bitcoin, buy and hold Ethereum, and you're good to go.
That's the classic old saying about alts, is alts are around to make more Bitcoin.
Exactly, man. Like, that's what 2017 was. It was people selling you some ludicrous technology that didn't work, didn't even exist, just to take your Bitcoin. Just hold your Bitcoin, man. At some point, if Bitcoin gains enough ground as a store of value, each Bitcoin is going to be worth so much money. That's why I don't bother cashing out most of my Bitcoin. I believe the future value of that asset will far and away exceed the value of any other asset in this world. And that's all you got to do, is just hold Bitcoin. Hold Bitcoin for the next 30 years. You'll get better returns than the stock market, better returns than any real estate investment. That's it.
I think that's so spot on, but it's so hard for people to do in reality because they're going to be holding that Bitcoin and they're clearly still paying attention to the markets, and they're going to see something like Ripple go from half a cent to 30 cents and be like, fuck, like I knew I should have bought that Ripple. And that greed is going to take over. But I guess that's what makes the markets interesting, right? Is that kind of play on emotions,
the
and
psychological,
psychology.
yeah. It's tough. I think, yeah, you just gotta, I think, and that's the big thing is don't drink the Kool-Aid too much with some of these alts, right? Understand that, it's a trade, and, it's not going to be like, don't say it's the next Bitcoin. That's like, don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't think that just because something is a new shiny object that it's actually worthwhile. Just stick with what you know most of the time, and you'll be okay. Not to say that you can't look into ICOs, and if there's another speculative bubble, I'm going to be in ICOs just because as a trader you have to be flexible, but it does not mean I think they have any long-term value for the most part. It's just simply how can I accumulate the most money fastest?
Exactly.
And sometimes it's ICOs, and a lot of the times it's not going to be ICOs.
And the thing is too, like these speculative bubbles can last quite some time, like enough time where you can make some moves and make some money. The hard thing is knowing when that party is over, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, looking back, we all should have known when Katy Perry was putting like insignias of coins on her nails that it might have been a top.
Yeah. Or the classic article that
everyone's getting rich and you're not in the Times. Yeah.
Like
I did have a good hearty chuckle and send it to everyone that I know in real life that was like, oh my God, you're buying Bitcoin? It's such a scam.
Yeah.
And then I politely sent that article to them, was like, how's work, man?
I think that was like literally almost the top too. Like
that literally was, man. Like that article marked it. Yeah.
Jeremy Gardner on his yacht with like a bunch of women was the top.
What's tough though is like you see the articles and you're like, okay, like maybe this is the top, but like it feels good, and I'm not going to believe it until it actually happens, until the crash actually happens, and by that time it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? It's difficult to call tops and bottoms. I mean, not like 99% of people can't do it, and the 1% of people that can do it like once in a blue moon. So yeah,
it's a lot easier to try to catch the bulk of the move in between rather than trying to be the guy who's
I think the biggest mistake a lot of people make trading is that they guilt themselves into thinking that they should be catching every single move, and when they close out a trade too early, they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed the other part of this move. And when they close out a trade too late, they're just like, oh my God, why didn't I see the signs? It's like trading is an inexact science. You use technical analysis to identify ways in which you can enter and exit a trade with the highest likelihood of success, but you're never going to be 100% accurate. I mean, if you were to look at my trading log, it's like a lot of minus 0.5 BTCs for every like 15 to 20 BTC wins. So like you're losing half the trade trying to get a good setup. And then when you get the good setup, then you make your profits. But like generally it's like 1 in 5 or 10 or 20 trades that are good. And then that has to partially make up for all the times you mess up. So don't beat yourself up about like missing a setup or playing a setup that went wrong. Just close out the trade and get the next one. Like use proper bankroll management. Don't use 50% of your money in one trade. Like, be smart.
That's so true. I mean, there's some big investment manager, some hedge fund manager that I'm forgetting the exact name of, but he has a quote where it's like, it's not how often you win, it's how much you win when you win on a trade. And I think it's totally true. And you have to know when you have a good trade and a good setup and a good entry going, and let that kind of do its thing.
Exactly. That's huge. Like I can look at a very select amount of trades where I've made a lot of money in my lifetime. Like most recently, just shorting EOS from 125,000 Satoshis down to like 70,000 Satoshis. Like, no one else was taking that trade. I mean, I had so many people in the comments talking to me about how now is the time to buy alts, whatever. And 50,000 Satoshis later and hundreds of thousands of dollars later, people now want to take the trade. That's when you get out of the trade.
I think you said that too today. What you were closing out some of your positions, eh?
Yeah, I covered all my alt shorts. and I'm flat because my trading strategy is to go based on the trend. Right now, there is no trend. Right now, we're just ranging on everything. So until there's a trend, there's nothing I can really trade.
It's a simple game if you let it be, you know, and I think that's the big thing. It can be a very simple game to talk about and all that and do if you just let it be. But there's also a lot of ways to complicate it.
Yeah, exactly. I think like to get involved in crypto at all, you have to be pretty smart. So what smart people have a tendency to do is just overthink things. I'm fortunate where I'm an opportunist, but I'm not that smart. So I kind of just like don't overthink things. If I see something, I just act on impulse and do it. And if I'm wrong, I just close it out.
Well, and that's the biggest thing is knowing how to just say, okay, I'm wrong, and just closing the position, because there's a lot, you know, this is a pretty big thing, especially when you first start trading is, no, I'm not wrong. I am right. And I'm going to ride this thing till I'm right. And then as we've seen in alts, oh, these things can keep going down a lot longer than you ever imagine. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just knowing when not to trade at all, too, you know, which is something I've come to grips with during this bear market where I keep thinking, oh, okay, I got the trend now. Oh, okay, I got the trend now. Nope, I don't. I liquidated, you know, it's like, just fucking log out.
That's literally the hardest thing for me because you know, deep down, I have that gambling itch, right? And I know that about myself.
Yeah, me too.
And so that's where sports betting and all that has kind of actually really saved my ass in this bear market, because it's made it so that I can kind of scratch that itch and I don't have to be taking stupid risks within the market, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like if you just fire $100 there instead of firing like 10% of your trading bankroll on a trade, it's generally, even if you lose this, like you're going to lose the sports bet more often than not.
Yeah.
Like it's still better than just firing 10% of your roll into a trade that's not very good for you. Exactly. You know, just be patient. Yeah. I think that's one thing from trading that's, you know, I've been very fortunate going into poker and studying poker a lot is that I'm very, very, very patient. So if it's not there, if I have to wait 10 hours for that pot, that makes me my profit for the night. I have no problem doing that. I don't really care if I wait 10 hours because eventually I'm going to get maybe $5,000 or $10,000 on that day. And, you know, that's a lot of money. Yeah. Even, you know, where I'm at financially now, as fortunate as I am, it's still a good bit of money. It's still, you know, more money than most people see in a month. So just be patient and things will come to you. Don't force things. And it sounds, you know, in executing, it's a lot more difficult than it sounds, but yeah, just be patient. You'll be okay.
Okay, one last topic before we wrap it up. You mentioning sports betting really made me want to talk about this, and Dale's not here to make fun of me for doing it. So we're going to talk a little bit about Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Donnie, who are you taking?
I am taking infinite action on young Khabib Nurmagomedov. Blah 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 blah.
I already got my bets in on him. I got those in a bit ago. I'll be adding more too as it gets closer because I figure we'll probably see that line on McGregor get, you know, it'll get hammered because of all the
I can't wait for every O'Flanagan and O'Flaherty and all of Dublin to just dump their fucking shekels onto McGregor and tilt that line because I will be waiting with heaps of money to dump on Khabib. Like, I want to get $100,000. That's how sure I'm Khabib's going to win.
Yeah. Fuck no. I'm like, I've already put in a little bit on Khabib, and it's like fucking 24 hours leading up to the fight. It's going to be all about those lines.
Dude, I cannot wait for that fight because it's been a while since I've had, like, you know, sometimes, Prince, you get that sense where you just, like, you see something that other people don't in the sports betting world where you're just like, I need to slam this bet. Like, I just need to put all of the money on it.
Yeah.
And Khabib Conor is that spot. Like, the last spot I felt like that was Floyd Conor. And, like, I had so many people offering me action to take Floyd. I was like, you guys are just lighting money on fire. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And they just didn't care.
That's the fanboy thing, right? Whenever there's a cult following, those fans will just absolutely destroy a line, you know. But they'll give some pretty good opportunities.
Honestly, I think Conor plus 150 is not a terrible bet. I definitely think Khabib is going to win, but I think his stand-up is very sloppy. I think McGregor has a chance in the first 1 or 2 rounds, depending upon when he gets taken down, if he does, of KOing him fairly easily. I know it's never happened to Habib, and I like Habib. I don't like Conor really, but I think the stand-up difference is quite stark.
Yeah.
So I have this real interesting theory about Khabib, Killer. And my theory is that Khabib wants Conor so bad that he has that stance to bait Conor.
Mm.
And then when Conor goes for it, Khabib's just going to take him down and it's going to be done in 2 rounds.
Yeah. I think you're right. I totally agree. I think Khabib's gonna win. Like, I don't doubt that. I just hope he doesn't get a little bit too cocky and like try to stand with him. And I don't think he will, because I think this is, you know, the biggest fight he's ever gonna get in his life, and he really has to want to win this, and he will. But I think there is a small chance that the ego. I mean, we saw it versus Ali Aquinta, the last fight, where it should be a very easy, dominating victory for Khabib, and all of a sudden he starts wanting to work his jab and play from the outside, and it's like, what are you doing, man? But
yeah, I mean, like, the fact that he took Iaquinta to 5 rounds was absurd, but I think that was maybe more for the fans, knowing that like he can kind of just fuck around with Iaquinta and then whenever he really wanted to, just like win. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a sign of things to come, and that Conor might actually have a chance in this fight. But
yeah,
you know, not really have fought in 2 years basically, and like.
That's my thing. He
doesn't really seem to need money anymore or care about fighting. Like, what's his competitive
comfortable? Like, you know.
Also, like, Conor tends to have cardio issues, and Habib is a fucking cardio machine. And like, if he, it might only take. Granted, it might only take 1 Conor punch, but it might also only take 1 Habib takedown. You know, if he gets him down and tires him out and beats him up a little bit, I think Conor could wilt, and the second round is not going to look like the first round, and it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, and the other thing is 2 years since Conor's fought, and he's had conditioning issues in the past. I mean, if you're not slamming Khabib on this fight, you must be money or something. Like, I honestly don't even understand. Like, I'm gonna roll into the fucking MGM Grand with like stacks of cash, asking to bet as much as I can on Khabib to win this. So like, I'm gonna be going to my casino house and be like, I swear to fucking Christ, if you cut me off. I will never degen in your pits ever again.
Yeah.
I am so looking forward to this fight. I may have to join you in Vegas, Donny. We'll see, but I mean, it's close enough to me where I don't really have a good excuse, you know. So,
Killer, I'm calling it now. If I ship 6 figures on this fight, we are having the all-night craps degenning session of our lives. Like, I'm gonna be betting 1,000 to 5,000 a spot if we fucking ship this fight.
Oh god.
All right, fellas. I've had a great time talking with you too, Donny. Thank you as always for joining us. Definitely one of our most entertaining guests. Is there anything you want to leave listeners with?
If you ask me whether I sold Zilliqa in DMs again, I've already dumped on you. I don't own that token anymore. You should have bought when I told you to buy right after ICO. You would have made about 20x returns, but you didn't. You waited until it was worth $1 billion, and then obviously I'm selling. So please, the 10 of you that have done this in the past 2 months, don't ask me about it because it's already sold, okay? And that's it.
All right,
I love
everybody.
you guys. If you're ever in Vegas and you want to get a drink, shoot me a DM. My DMs are always open. If you ask me what my target is for an EOS short, I'm going to ignore you and probably mute you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Donny Crypto. This has been a lot of fun. We will see you guys later. Peace.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks, Donny.